Has the iPhone XS been made obsolete since only September of 2018? Let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? This is Walt from TechTheory, back today with another tech review video. Now today I'll be reviewing the iPhone XS. If you like tech review videos like this, or you like tech build videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook so you can keep up to date on all of our recent projects or our upcoming reviews. Also, be sure to comment below this video and let us know what is your first/favorite iPhone. Now let's get into it. Now when you start talking about the iPhone XS, the first thing that you have to mention is the gorgeous display. Now it's a 5.8-inch Retina HD display and it's absolutely beautiful. It's definitely one of the most beautiful displays I personally saw out of 2018. Now the only caveat to that is going to be that notch. The only thing about the notch though is with the recent release of the new S10, S10 Plus, I kind of prefer the notch over the pinhole. It just kind of works better, especially if you're watching videos on YouTube. It's definitely a better format than having this random cutout out of your video, which is just really weird. So I definitely have to say I don't like the notch. I much prefer the bezels on my Note 8, but I would definitely prefer the notch over something like the pinhole in the Samsung S10. This phone is crazy powerful as well. It's got Apple's new A12 Bionic chip with what they call their next generation neural engine in it, if I'm correct. And that may sound like gibberish to you, and it did to me at first, but basically what it means is it's an 8-core processor that can go through trillions of calculations in a second. So that's like a lot of horsepower, and it definitely shows when you're using the phone, switching through apps, you're opening up, even if you're like photo editing with the Photoshop app, you definitely see that power in this phone, and it definitely sets itself apart from a lot of its competitors. Now, my Note 8, it still performs fairly well with the chipset it's got in it, but I have noticed that it's a bit snappier response on the XS when you're switching between screens, so that's really cool. As time progresses, one of the biggest aspects of a smartphone that people will generally look at before purchasing it is its camera. And with the iPhone XS, you're definitely going to want to buy this phone if that's what you're looking for. Now, the front camera is a 7-megapixel true depth camera, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely one of the best front-facing cameras out of 2018. Now I did see some phones that had a better quality camera. I know there was one I saw reviewed by Unbox Therapy, the one with the pop-out camera on the front, and surprisingly that phone had probably the best front-facing camera that I personally saw, and I would definitely say that the front-facing is better than the Note 8, which is my daily driver. Now on the back you get two 12-megapixel cameras, one being a wide angle and one being a telephoto lens. And these are definitely quite comparable to the Note 8. Both of them have beautiful image quality, and there are slight differences. I have noticed that while the Note has a bit more clarity, the iPhone XS has a lot more color richness in the photo. And so if that's really what you're looking for, this phone's going to be great for you. And just all around, even the Apple calls it the portrait mode, the Note 8 calls it live focus if I'm correct, and I have to say the XS blows the Note out of the water in that aspect. I hate the live focus on my phone, but the XS portrait mode is one of the most beautiful things I've seen on a cell phone camera pretty much ever. Now, one of the coolest things on the iPhone XS is going to be its Face ID. Now, for years, the only security options that Apple has given to their iPhone users is passcode, password, and fingerprint scanner. Now, for years, Samsung has had Face ID, and it's definitely came a long way, but it's still far from perfect. Now, when you look at the iPhone XS, on the other hand, you kind of wonder if there's any improvement that's needed there. They use what they call adaptive recognition, and that's basically how the Face ID will work if you're wearing a ball cap compared to not, if you're wearing glasses, or if you decide to let your beard grow out or get a nice haircut. This adaptive recognition will continue to be able to recognize you even with all those changes going on, which is really cool. Now, compared to other face recognition solutions, the Face ID on the XS is one of the fastest that I've ever seen. Now, personally, I use the Face ID on my Note 8, and it is pretty fast. I really don't have a lot of issues with it, and I've heard that it does get better on some of the newer phones, but the XS really takes the cake with that. The only issue that I have with it is I do like to be able to use my fingerprint if I just really wanted to. And they don't add a solution for that anywhere on the XS or the XS Max. So I'm hoping on the next generation of iPhone, they add possibly an under the screen fingerprint scanner. And I also hope that they follow Huawei's solution for that and use the optical one rather than shooting for the sonic one that is in the new S10 and S10 Plus. From what I've heard, the sonic one works slim to none of the time. So definitely I hope they go with an optical solution, but I do definitely hope that they keep with the Face ID because their Face ID is absolutely wonderful. Now, along with it being super quick and very adaptive, it is also really well integrated into the iOS. Not only can you unlock your phone with it, like on other devices, but you can also unlock apps. Like if you have your login information saved, you can unlock them just by looking at the camera, and you can also use it through Apple Pay to make payments and things like that, so that all of your credit card and banking information is kept secure. Now, the last major part of the iPhone XS to talk about is going to be its battery. Now, it has a 2658 milliamp hour battery, which is respectable, but not all that impressive. Now, my Note 8 has a 3300 milliamp hour battery, which is significantly larger, but the Note 8 is a considerably larger phone, so that's to be expected there. Now, you can get the iPhone XS through a whole day on one charge, as noted on Apple's site, but if you use it more than average, you are going to have to plug up somewhere throughout the day. Now, personally, battery life is a big thing to me, so this is a little bit more annoying than things such as the notch on the device. But it does have a decent battery life that can get you through a whole day. It's just don't expect any ridiculous battery life from it. Now, some final notes about the iPhone XS include its speakers. Now, the speakers aren't the most amazing speakers I've heard, but they are definitely some decent speakers to have on a smartphone of this size. And we'll let you hear a little snippet of them playing right here. Now, another thing to note about this device is the wireless charging. Now, Apple added wireless charging to their devices back with the iPhone 8, if I'm correct, and it's something that stayed with all the following products, and it's just a really nice addition. I love wireless charging. Now, with the iPhone XS, one thing I have noticed is that it does have a slight overheating problem when you leave it on even the QI certified wireless chargers. Now, my Note 8 gets a little warm, but the iPhone XS gets full out hot when you leave it on a wireless charger, and that's not really something I like to see in a smartphone, so that's something to consider there. Now, we are still missing a headphone port on this device, and everybody's going to complain about that, but truthfully, after reviewing the AirPods a couple videos back and, seeing how seamlessly they connect with the iPhone, I can't complain too much about it. I mean, it's something I wish they had, but Apple's definitely making an effort to make it an easier transition from life with a headphone port to life without it. So that's definitely really nice of Apple. And the last thing to note is the key combos for screenshot and for recovery mode on this device. And I mentioned this because, we got rid of the home button with the iPhone X, and so since then the key combos have changed, and I can't say I'm a super fan of that. Recovery mode is like entering an NES cheat code now. You have to hit like volume up, volume down, and then the side button. And it has a lot of room for error. I know I've had trouble putting it in recovery mode, and screenshots is just a little different now, which, kind of throws my brain for a loop. But all in all, it's not a super huge issue. All in all, this is by far one of my favorite iPhones that Apple's ever released. Personally, I probably would have went with the iPhone XS Max just because I like the larger phones, but the XS is a super cool device. And you know, with a few tweaks on the next generation of iPhone, Apple might even have me switching over to an iPhone, and I've been a die-hard Android guy for like forever. So as you can see, the iPhone XS is a super cool device. It's super reliable, and it's definitely going to be a nice phone, especially if you're already invested in that Apple ecosystem. It is a bit pricey, but like I said, if you're invested with Apple, then it's probably going to be worth it for you. So thank you for watching this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to get updated on new reviews and new projects that I'll be working on. Now, also don't forget to comment below on what your favorite / your first iPhone was and maybe why you liked it so much. Thank you for watching and have a good one.